and welcome back to our political science class. Children, today we will continue with our lesson, that is working of institution. In this, we will be studying about the powers of Prime Minister. This is a new topic that we are going to study about in this class. Children, be it the powers of the Prime Minister or the ministers, or you can say their relationship with each other, okay, the Constitution does not say much about all this. Yes, but Prime Minister has powers. Prime Minister is the head of the government. Yes, right? So, Prime Minister as the head of the government has wide-ranging powers. It is a Prime Minister who chairs the cabinet meetings, who holds the meeting of cabinet. It is the Prime Minister who looks into the work of different departments, not only looks into their work but also correlates, also coordinates it. Okay, in case there is disagreement between the departments, here Prime Minister comes into action. Decision of the Prime Minister becomes final. Okay, final decision is taken by the Prime Minister when there is disagreement between the two departments. Now, it is the Prime Minister who exercises general supervision, okay, of different ministries. All ministers from different departments, they work under the leadership of the Prime Minister. Works are distributed or redistributed by whom? By the Prime Minister to the ministers. He has the power to dismiss the minister. Who he? He means Prime Minister. As we all know, when the Prime Minister quits the office, all the minister in his office also has to quit. Let's see. The cabinet is most important institution in India, and it is the PM who is most powerful within the cabinet. The powers of the Prime Minister has increased in all parliamentary democracies of the world. So much that recently these parliamentary democracies are sometimes, you can say, seen as prime ministerial form of government. Here political parties, they had to play a major role in politics, and it is the Prime Minister who controls this cabinet and also the parliament through these parties. Okay. Now, media also plays a very important role over here. Media makes politics and election a competition between top leaders of the party. Now, children, in India too, the powers is concentrated in the hands of the Prime Minister. Okay, now Jawaharlal Nehru, he was the first Prime Minister of India, right? You all know it. Nehru ji, when he became the Prime Minister, he exercised large authority. The reason was he had great influence over the people of our country, over the public. Take Indira Gandhi. She was also the Prime Minister of our country. She was the daughter of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, she too was very powerful leader. Okay, more powerful than her colleagues, other politicians in her party. One thing here I want to say, children, is personality is also very important. Personality of a person holding this big position of Prime Minister, having powers in hand, should be too good. Okay, it is very important. They should know how to make proper use of their powers. But what happened in recent times? Okay, things has changed. we see rise of coalition political parties. Many parties form, they come together and they form government. This has imposed certain restriction, constraint on the powers of the Prime Minister. We have government formed out of coalition parties. Now what happens in such situation? The Prime Minister, the Prime Minister cannot take decision as he likes. Instead, the Prime Minister, he has to accommodate different groups and different factions. Now what are factions? They are the small organization, dissenting or disagreeing group within the larger ones. Now the Prime Minister has to accommodate this group and factions not only in his party but also among the alliance partners. Here Prime Minister also has to pay attention, pay heed to the views and also the position of the coalition party and other parties who support the party which is forming the government. You are getting me? Now let's talk about another institution, and that is the President. Now the President is the head of the government. Am I right? Prime Minister is the head of the government. Then what is President? What is the post of the President? President is the head of the state. And according to our political system, the head of the state has only nominal powers. The President of India is like the Queen of Britain. Why? I'll tell you. Because the functions that is carried out of President, last ceremony takes place. So it is compared to the Britain Queen's ceremony. Now listen here. This President supervises all or looks after all the working, the functioning of all the political institutions in our country. So that what happens? They work. Why he is taking care of this political institution? So that they work in harmony, they work in peace and help to achieve the objectives of the state. Children, President is not elected directly by the people, but the MPs. Who are these MPs? They are the elected member of Parliament. It is the MPs and also the elected member of legislative assemblies, the MLAs. They both elect the president. The MPs and MLAs elect the president. A candidate who is contesting election for president has to get majority votes and win the election. As this ensures that the elected president represents the entire nation. But the president cannot claim the kind of direct popular mandate or authority as the Prime Minister. This makes sure that president only is a nominal executive. If you read the Constitution, you will think that there is nothing that the president cannot do, or the president can do everything. In other words, all the governmental activities that are carried out, that take place, all in the name of the president. Also, all laws and decision on the policies of the government are issued on the name of the president. Also, all major appointments of ministers or important officers, this all is made in the name of the president, children. I'll tell you who are appointed by the president. See, the Chief Justice of India, the appointment of Chief Justice of India is made by the President, or say the judges of both Supreme Court and High Court are also made by the President. Okay, the appointment of governor of states, then election commissioner, or you can say ambassador to other countries, they all are appointed by the President. Very important thing, what I wanted to tell you is all international treaties and agreements, they are made in the name of the President. Okay, even in the defense force of India, our President is the supreme commander. Remember this. Okay, yes, all these powers President has to exercises. Okay, but President, he or she, our President, exercises these powers only and only on the advice of the Council of Ministers. President cannot take decision on his own. He takes help of the Council of Ministers. See, the President can ask the minister to reconsider their advice on any matters or policies or bill. But if the minister has same opinion, there's no change in their opinion or the same advice, if it is given by them again, then the President has to work according to their advice, according to the advice of the Council of Ministers. We all know a bill which is passed in the parliament in both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It becomes a law, but when? Only and only after it gets assent of the President. Only and only after the President approves it. Okay. Now the President can delay his decision for some time and send the bill back to the Parliament for reconsideration. But if again the bill is passed by the Parliament, then the President has no option but to sign it. Okay. Now you may think, what the President do, or can a President do anything on her own at all, his or her own at all? As I told you, children, one thing the President does on her own is appointing the Prime Minister, which is very important. Now again, who becomes the Prime Minister or who is appointed as the Prime Minister? I'll tell you. See, Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party who gets majority votes, okay, in Lok Sabha, or the coalition of party that enjoy majority support in the Lok Sabha. That leader becomes the Prime Minister. Now suppose a single party or coalition, okay, does not get majority. No single party or coalition parties get clear majority to form government, okay, in Lok Sabha. Then here the President comes into action. The President exercises her discretion, independence, judgment. In such situation, in such case, the President appoints a leader who she feels can get majority support in Lok Sabha and appoints this leader as the Prime Minister. Now children, but this newly appointed Prime Minister is asked to prove majority support in Lok Sabha in a given time period, in a specific time. Okay. So now we will move on to our new topic, new political institution, that is judiciary. Okay, now see, we studied in the beginning of this lesson, we studied the story about office memorandum. There were many disputes, violence broke out. Now, who solved this dispute? And how this violence, this disputes came to an end? Yeah? Yes, it was the Supreme Court. Yeah, Supreme Court who intervened and the disputes came to an end. Now, what did the Supreme Court do? Supreme Court heard the debates and the points of both the sides who supported the office memorandum and who also were against the office memorandum. He heard both of them and then he gave a verdict. And this verdict was accepted by everyone. And this is how the disputes related to office memorandum came to an end. Everyone accepted the verdict given by the Supreme Court. Children, just imagine what would have happened if there was nothing like Supreme Court in the country, or it was not that powerful, or Supreme Court had no powers to judge the actions of the government. Government was supreme, had supreme power, was more powerful than the Supreme Court. Or even if it had power, Supreme Court had power, but no one trusted that the Supreme Court would give a fair verdict without being biased. Or even if it gave fair judgment, those who appealed, those group of people who appealed against the government order did not accept this judgment that was given by the Supreme Court. Children, with all this, we can see how important is the Supreme Court. How important role is played by the Supreme Court. And so, an independent and powerful judiciary is considered very essential, very important for democracies. All the courts, be it the Supreme Court or High Court or district courts, all are called as judiciaries. They all come under judiciaries. Now, our Indian judiciary system consists of Supreme Court. Okay? For entire nation, we have one Supreme Court. And where it is? It is in Delhi. High courts are in states, all the states. Nearly all the states in our country have high courts. See here the image you can see, it is the image of Bombay High Court. Then we also have district courts and courts at the local level. Okay, children? Now, in India, we have integrated judiciary. What does it mean? It means that the Supreme Court controls all the judicial administration of the country, in the country. Now, you can say the decisions of the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts of the country. That is, the law declared by the Supreme Court shall be binding on all the courts within the territory of India. Remember this. Okay? The Supreme Court can take any important disputes. Disputes like between the citizen and the country. okay, or say between the citizens and the government, okay, disputes between two or more states, and disputes between government of the union and the state level, that is the government of the union territory and the state government, disputes between the citizens, okay. The Supreme Court is the highest court, remember this, wherein one can make an appeal in civil, also in criminal cases. Yes, it is very important. It can hear the appeals against the decision of the High Court too. Whatever verdict if High Court is given, if the Supreme Court has to change the decisions of the High Court. Remember this. Now, independence of judiciary is very important. No one should interfere. What is the meaning of independence of judiciary? It means that it is not under the control of the legislature or even the executive or any party who is in power. No one can direct it. The judges do not act as per the direction of the government or even according to the wishes of any political party, even though if the party is in power, the party has formed government. You know, children, all modern democracies, they have courts, and these courts are of independent, they are independent of legislature and executive. When we talk about India, India has achieved this. Even in our country, our courts are independent. It is the president who appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. And this appointment is done on the advice of the Prime Minister and after the consultation of Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Now, who is this Chief Justice? Chief Justice is the presiding or the principal judge of a court of justice. It also means that senior judge of the Supreme Court selects a new judge of Supreme Court and the High Court. There is very little chance for interference by a political executive in the work of judiciary. It is the Chief Justice who appoints the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Now, children, say a person, once a person is appointed, he is appointed as a judge of a, say, Supreme Court or a High Court. It is just impossible to remove him or her. Okay, to remove the judge from this position, from their office. It is difficult as removing a president of our country. Okay, a judge can be removed only by an impeachment motion. Okay, that too is passed separately by 2/3 members of both the houses, that is the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha of the Parliament. Now, the procedure of removal of judges is elaborated one. It is mentioned in the Article 124(4) of the Constitution, and it is termed as impeachment for initiating impeachment process. A motion has to be moved, okay, by either 100 Lok Sabha members or 50 Rajya Sabha members. It has never happened, thank God, it has never happened in the history of Indian democracy. Very good. Okay, now let's move further. The judiciary of India is also one of the most powerful in the world. The Supreme Court and the High Court have powers to interpret the constitution of the country. It has ultimate judiciary authority to interpret the constitution and decide questions of national law. They can have power to declare invalid any law of the legislature and actions of the executive, whether at the union level or at the state level, but only if they find that the law or the action is against the institution. Okay. Now, thus they can determine the constitutional validity of any legislation or action of the executive in the country. When it is challenged before them, okay, and this is known as judiciary review. The Supreme Court of India has also ruled that the core or the basic principles of the constitution cannot be changed by the parliament. This is very important. Yeah, it acts as a guardian of fundamental rights because of the power and independence of the Indian judiciary system. In recent years, the court has given several judgments and directives. This all he has given to protect the public interest and also human rights. Anyone can take help of the court if he or she finds that the public interest is hurt by the action of the government. This is what is called public interest litigations. You have studied this in 8th standard. To prevent the misuse of the government's power to make decisions, the court intervenes. Court checks the malpractices on the part of the public officer. And that is the reason the judiciary enjoys high level of confidence among the people of the country, even in our country. Children, with this, we have completed our lesson. Thank you and meet you in the next class.